Going to be a cold weekend in a lot of the country. So what are you going to do? You want to watch some football?
That's right, Bears fan. Go Bears.
Go Niners. And watch some movies. And you're in luck because either in the theaters or for home streaming, there's some good ones. Welcome. This is the Screening Room Podcast, and she is Hope Madden, a Bears fan.
He's George Wolf, a Niners fan.
So if we both win this weekend, it's Dukes up next weekend. But
Right.
we hope that happens. So we'll see. But yeah, we're going to talk about the movies. And yeah, it looks like a good weekend and a good week. And let's start with one that we've been looking forward to for a while.
First up in theaters, as Spike is inducted into Jimmy Crystal's gang on the mainland, Dr. Kelson makes a discovery that could alter the world. 28 years later, the Bone Temple.
Heck yeah. Have we heard yet? Is there a porn knockoff yet? Because that should have taken about 30 seconds. But I'm sure you've heard the buzz by now if you haven't seen the movie. And yeah, the first great horror movie of the year is here. And I know I'm quoting you on that and probably a lot of other people. Yeah. This one brings the goods.
It really does. You know, we didn't dislike 28 Years Later. I know there are a lot of critics really enjoyed that movie. And we both thought it was good. It was like a good sort of coming of age survival film, but we were hoping for a horror movie because 28 Days Later was a masterpiece. It was. It's one of those movies. It's, decades old. It's still terrifying. It was terrifying.
Great.
And it was so well written, so well directed. The cast was so brilliant and beautiful and wonderful. And then, 28 weeks later, it's meaner, but it's a solid film. And I'm not saying 28 Years Later was a solid film, but it just wasn't scary.
Yeah, which is funny because Danny Boyle came back and he did the original, of course.
And Alex Garland wrote.
Alex Garland is and writing this one too. Now, Danny Boyle is not back. This time it's Nia DaCosta. And I'm with you. I think you had it right on the first movie, on 28 Years Later, that where it left us gave us a feeling like, okay, I wasn't really knocked out by the horror in that movie, but where we're going next, that could really be something. And they turn it over to Nia DaCosta along with Alex Garland writing. And yeah, it is something. This is a horror movie.
It is.
Make no mistake.
No, there's more visceral horror in the first 4 scenes in this movie than in the entirety of 28 Years Later. Yeah. So if you love 28 Years Later, but you're not sure about, don't go, because this, she brings the goods. Yeah. And she does. There are sort of 3 storylines in 28 Years Later, and she mainly picks up the 2 that are the most interesting, at least to me. So at the end of the last one, Spike had been saved from young Spike. He'd been saved from the infected by these crazy sort of
the Jimmies.
Yeah, the very Clockwork Orange kind of a vibe about him, the Jimmies. And you're like, and plus the main Jimmy, is Jack O'Connell, who, if you saw Sinners or really most of his early work, Eden Lake, you know that he's not a good guy to know. He's not going to be playing a good guy.
I'm sure he's a wonderful person.
I'm sure he is, but nobody villains as well as Jack O'Connell.
No, man.
So, and then across the island, on the other side of the island, we revisit the lovely Dr. Kelson, played beautifully as always by Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes is just such a reliable actor to find the humanity in anybody. And this, it's such a great character. And he's making some strides in trying to sort of form a bond and find maybe a cure, maybe a remedy for the infection. And he's gotten to be friends with Samson. You remember Pantsless Samson.
Old Pantsless Samson.
But the best thing, my favorite thing about a movie that has many, many, many great things is that Dr. Kelson is a massive Duran Duran fan. Huge. I mean, I couldn't get over how much Duran Duran they played in this movie. It was great.
Not only was he singing it, but then he's got a record collection.
That's right.
And actually, Duran Duran is not the only band in his collection.
No.
We won't name the other band.
No.
Because we don't want to spoil that moment.
But it's the greatest moment in a great
glorious.
movie. Oh, my
it's
God.
Glorious.
This movie is so much fun.
And I found out, thanks to our friend Ben, that Jimmy, the main Jimmy, is based on this guy named Jimmy Seville, I think, who was a DJ and just media personality in Britain. I think mainly in the 70s, maybe in the 80s. And I think he was well loved and popular. And then they found out that he was a terrible person. A sexual predator, I guess, is the story. And I didn't read up on all of it, but the other thing, but when you see a picture of him, he has that hair, those wigs that they're wearing. is that Jimmy Savile hair. So you can do your own research on that, but he's basically based on a real person. And yeah, Jack O'Connell is fantastic.
He is. He's so scary.
So scary.
And weirdly, unsettlingly funny.
Yeah. And it's one of those performances where he's overly polite, which you know is wrong until he's not, until things get mean. But so the two main storylines get closer and closer to intersecting. And when they do, things take another very interesting turn. And it's just so satisfying. Nia DaCosta not only brings the visceral horror, so many of the set pieces are so beautifully photographed. Visually, it's an amazing movie. The performances, Ray Fiennes, yes, everybody is great. The kids and the guy that plays Samson, I forget his name, because Samson, and I don't want to give anything away, but he's more than just pantsless Samson this time.
Yes,
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a movie that if you've been looking forward to it as much as we have and getting back to the horror elements, man, it's so satisfying. And that's why you're probably like us, just seeing buzz, just word of mouth all over the place, because it's just so satisfying and scary and tense, and yet beautifully photographed as well.
Yeah, Chi Lewis Perry is the name of the actor who plays Samson. And if you've seen, Nia DaCosta did Candyman, among other things, and that was one of the most beautifully shot, just gorgeous horror movies. But and then Hedda came out last year, not a horror film at all.
Liked Hedda. That was
beautiful.
I think one of the most overlooked movies. It was in our top 20. Yeah. Loved Hedda. Look that up if you haven't seen it, because totally different, but beautifully photographed. Just insane and well performed. Tessa Thompson in the lead. That's a really good movie. So there's no doubt she's a very good director. She's incredible. And we love her having her in horror for sure.
Yes, we absolutely do. So if you're a fan at all of horror movies,
go. And that's not to slight Alex Garland, because look at his resume. Yeah. He has written some amazing movies
and directed some amazing movies. Ex Machina.
Oh my Lord! And in this one, the script does such a great job of bringing themes to light without shoving them down your throat. Right. I mean, but you still can't really escape them. I mean, the zombie, quote unquote zombie genre has always been a metaphor for something political. Yeah. Always. Yep. And you've got the themes in this movie. Excuse me. With the Jimmies in there, you can see the themes of falling for false prophets and demagogues. That's all over the place.
But it doesn't beat you about that.
No, it doesn't. That's the great thing. Yeah. It's a smart script. Yeah, it's a very smart script. And Dr. Kelson is such a great character because he's running out of time. Yeah. He only has so many supplies, and he knows he's running out of time to try to get an antidote or some sort of relief from this virus. And with Samson, he thinks he's making some progress, but can he get there in time? So you've got a little bit of that racing against the clock going on too.
And then the Jimmies show up and
and just the bone temple itself that he's building is so cool. Yeah. It's such a cool set to work around once they do come together, and the whole thing. We can't really find many nits to pick about.
No.
And so we can only look forward to. I don't know if we've heard we do know. Is Danny Boyle coming back for the third one?
Danny Boyle, and I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but I feel like he's going to be saddled with the idea of bringing all these different storylines together, and I think it might be as problematic as launching them all in the first one. So I think Nia DaCosta chose wisely in taking this middle piece where she could just.
Of course, all that will start a lot with the script, and if Alex Garland is back,
he wrote all three.
All right, so there you go. I think there's a lot to look forward to, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, there's one big reason to look forward to it that you'll see in this movie. Don't let anybody tell you what it is.
Yeah, but don't want to get ahead of ourselves looking too far ahead to next one. Enjoy this one while we have it, and be sure to see it, of course, on the big screen. We always say see it on the big screen. It's a beautiful film full of lots of nastiness for sure. But if that's up your alley, not like it is up ours, don't miss The Bone Temple, and it's in theaters now.
And getting wide release in theaters this week. After being unemployed for several years, a man devises a unique plan to secure a new job. Eliminate his competition. No other choice.
Yeah, here's a return of one of our favorite directors.
Oh my God, yes.
And it's one that is already racking up has been racking up nominations during award season, and I'm sure it's going to rack up more come the Oscars, which are coming soon. The nominations are coming soon.
22nd, I think.
Well, there you go. Very soon, next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I fully expect this to be nominated for Best International Film and probably more, because Park Chan-wook has done some
Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah, just some amazing work. And this is a really interesting and darkly funny. We've seen a lot of those lately, darkly funny movies, and this one is. And it's very, 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 very timely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a capitalism satire. And although satire is kind of, I think, a broad term for what it is, because it's really a thriller. This man he's fired from his job at as a manager in a paper company. And so are all the other paper executives in town. And so every time he tries to get a new job, he's facing all of the same people for the competition for these very few jobs. And so he takes it upon himself to kill them, just to eliminate the competition. He has no other choice. They say that, it's funny because there's that funny bit where like they'll, just work the title into a movie, really these most awkward sentences and laugh. He actually does. He works it in beautifully, brilliantly. They say no other choice like 5 times.
And many different characters say it. And the choice they're talking about is different.
Yeah.
And a lot of
there's
times,
always another choice to be made. Always.
Yeah, always. But very, very well done.
And I think that's one of the things that makes this movie so interesting. It's also kind of unsettlingly funny, but it's also it's very smart. It's very humane. He doesn't want to do it, and then he gets wrapped up in these men's lives, and it's a fascinating. So few people can write and direct a film that has so much going on and have it all braid together so tightly as Park Chan-wook. I mean, he's an absolute master at what he does in everything. See everything he makes.
Yes, for sure.
And this is no different.
I'm still getting over Decision to Leave.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's about I don't know if you've seen that meme. Anyway, but the star of this, and I forget his name, but we've seen him in many, many movies. And this is one.
Les Byung-hun.
Okay.
Lee Byung-hun.
This is one where he looks more vulnerable than he's ever looked. Because
he was in like a G.I. Joe.
Right. I mean, he always looks like just a badass.
Yeah.
Like a trained killer and taut and ready to spring.
Yeah.
Here he doesn't.
No, although he does look too attractive to be an executive at a paper plant, which his wife points out to him at one point.
They kind of
you kind of have to
doubt him up a little bit.
Wow, you're awfully handsome. So they work that in.
They do, but he just looks more vulnerable.
Yeah,
emotionally and physically, and he's great.
Yeah, eventually they give him this ugly mustache.
Yeah, but it's sharp and insightful, even for the global economic disparities that we're having here at home, obviously in this home country. It's sort of the same deal because we see that over and over, especially somebody with the job that he has and in the age that he is in that middle management type.
And an industry that's disappearing.
Yeah, just gone. And then what does he do? And he's got this family and what are they going to do? They've got a certain lifestyle that they're accustomed to, and he doesn't want to give that up. He feels like a failure. So he has no other choice. And it's really, really good. One of the best of the year. Yeah. And I know it's been out a little while to qualify for awards, but now it's getting the wider rollout. So that's why we waited to talk about it now. And it's getting a more wider release on the big screen. So check it out. We loved it. No Other Choice.
On Netflix, a group of Miami cops discovers a stash of millions in cash, leading to distrust as outsiders learn about the huge seizure, making them question who to rely on. It's The Rip.
The Rip. Action. Crime thriller. Ben and Matt back together again. And it's director Joe Carnahan, who's done a lot of decent crime thriller. Smoking Aces is one. He did a couple with Frank Grillo. So, cop shop, boss level. But he frames the action very well. And he does it here too. And this is the rare straight to streaming release where you don't feel like it's been algorithmed to death and programmed for people that aren't paying attention, which is such a breath of fresh air.
For people who like to pay attention when they watch movies.
You got to pay attention. Even then, I doubt you're going to guess all the twists and turns, but they say it's based on a true story. I don't know how true, but anyway.
I'm going to guess that the true people were not as handsome as these people.
Probably not. Or beard-tastic.
Oh, it's a beard-tastic movie.
This is a beardly movie.
Might as well be The Thing. There's so many beards happening in this movie.
But Ben and Matt, they play a couple of detectives in Miami on this team that also includes Teyana Taylor and Stephen Yeun. And, I forget her name, but she was Maria Full of Grace. And it was so great to see her because I'm telling you. Yeah,
Catalina Sandino Moreno.
Her face hasn't changed. How many years has that been since Maria Full of Grace?
Oh my God, 15 at least.
She's great. It was great to see her. Yeah. So anyway, it's a great cast. And so this team gets a tip about a Miami house that is holding millions of dollars in drug cartel cash. So they're going to go and check this out. And once they get there and find out the amount of money has really been underestimated, then it becomes what are we going to do about the rip? That's what they call it. The money. Are we going to steal it? Or which of these cops is going to play by the book? Who wants to steal all of it? Who wants to steal some of it? Who's a snitch? Who's a dirty cop? We don't know. And it goes back and forth and back and forth, and it keeps you guessing through the whole time. And some great action sequences. And it's one that is it's satisfying, especially, I don't want to say that the bar for these straight to streamings have been set low, but they've been set low.
Oh, they have been.
Because you've seen over and over these movies with big stars in them, and you're just, have I turned off my brain?
Yeah.
Apparently that's what they want.
Yeah.
Thankfully, not with this one. And it's a good action thriller. I love a good crime action thriller. Do a shoot 'em up. Let's go. As long as it's still remotely smart, and doesn't just feed everything to you since you're out in the other room doing something else or on your phone. And this one doesn't. So this one I think is great. If somebody's, like I said, it's bad weather, whatever, you're staying in, you're going to fire up Netflix, you like a good crime thriller, here it is.
That's right.
Matt and Ben and their beards, a lot of beards. Oh, who else has a beard? Kyle Chandler. He shows up.
I don't think I've ever seen Kyle Chandler with a beard.
Oh, he's got the beard and the long hair. He's all about it. So
Crazy.
He shows up at the end. Stephen Yeun, not as beard-tastic.
No, he's got a mustache.
Yeah, got a little bit going on.
Facial hair.
Yeah, so it's a great cast, well directed. Yeah, yeah. Enjoy.
He chose to go a little different.
It's The Rip on Netflix now. Matt and Ben.
Also in theaters on February 8th, 1977, Tony Kuritzis entered the office of Richard Hall, president of the Meridian Mortgage Company, and took him hostage with a sawed-off shotgun wired with a dead man's wire from the trigger to Tony's own neck. It's the latest from Gus Van Sant, Dead Man's Wire.
Let me say, when we started this movie, we thought I was going to write the review, just sort of a back and forth. We divide up the week and who's going to write what. And about the third time they show Coleman Domingo, I'm like, clearly you're writing this movie because it's about a guy who kidnaps an executive and who doesn't trust anybody except the DJ from the Indianapolis DJ that spins the hits, not to mention the fact that the songs that the DJ plays are all favorites of George's. I'm like, it would just be dumb for me to be the one. So you wrote it.
Yeah, it's smart to trust the DJ. And I could never be as cool as Fred Temple, played by Coleman Domingo. Yeah, this is another one they say based on true events. I get the feeling it's maybe a little more true than The Rip, but whatever. Because I had not heard of this story at all. It was 1977. And a guy, Tony Kuritzis, he took the president of a mortgage company hostage with this dead man's wire from his neck to the sawed-off shotgun, the trigger on it, because Tony owned some land and he wanted to develop that land into a shopping center, and he thought he had a bunch of leads, and he thinks that the mortgage company sabotaged that behind his back to let all these potential stores or businesses go elsewhere. So he wants compensation. He wants an apology mainly from the owner of the company, which is Al Pacino, in a cameo. And he wants immunity, and he wants media access, talking to the DJ and talking to TV, and he wants to be able to get all this and just walk away. And even before Al Pacino shows up, it has a little bit of that Dog Day Afternoon feel, right? 70s, true story, little man fighting against the system. Mm-hmm. It's got some absurdist humor to it. The writer, I think his name is Austin Kolodny, comes mainly from comedy, and there's definitely a layer of comedy going through this, and it's led by a terrific performance from Bill Skarsgård. He's manic, he's all over the place. He's friendly with his hostage at one point, and the next point he's threatening to kill him.
Yeah,
he's funny sometimes. He's starstruck. He's a fanboy when the DJ gets involved, which can happen. Let's be honest. But
Coleman Domingo is great as always.
He's great.
Jack Ray Montgomery from Stranger Things.
Yep.
He plays the executive that and he's really wonderful.
It's a great
really
cast.
tender. It's a really
Carrie Elways, who
Carrie
you might not recognize, also beardy.
Yeah.
I've
never seen Carrie Elways.
He's in this, and we were talking last night about how long it's been since Gus Van Sant.
Yeah.
His last film was he won't get far on foot.
Yeah,
if you remember that.
That was a fun one. That was
Yeah.
a good one.
So this is
Fucking
not.
nice.
It's well directed. The pace keeps you going. It's very engaging. I wouldn't say it has a lot of bite. As far as a bit of social commentary, it's kind of more surface level, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's definitely enjoyable, especially if you don't know what happened with this story, as I didn't.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun. Well, 77, I was still a stupid kid. I wasn't paying attention to the news as much as I should have. But if you don't know where it went, it's surprising how it wound up. And so there's definitely some fun, yes, to be had. There's some bittersweet moments as well. And of course, I mean, just in the last couple of years, we've seen how a fugitive can become a hero, a man of the people, because of people feeling like they're hopeless.
Yeah.
And this just reminds you that feeling is not new.
No.
It's been around as long as decks have been stacked. And it's kind of a weirdly fun way to revisit that, but remind you of it at the same time. And it's led by a great performance by Bill Skarsgård and a great ensemble. So yeah, we'd recommend that one. And that is in theaters, and it's called Dead Man's Wire.
And in theaters, a Choral Society's male members enlist in World War I, leaving the demanding Dr. Guthrie to recruit teenagers. Together, they experience the joy of singing while the young boys grapple with their impending conscription into the army. It's the Choral.
More Ray Fiennes.
More Ray Fiennes, and to be specific, his character says Choral, and then Choral, and then the rest of them say choral. So I don't know which one. Maybe it depends on where you're from, but it's a chorus of voices, a singing group, and it is 1919. World War I is raging, and so this chorus has to get a new chorus master, and they're not really loving the fact where they have to bring in Dr. Guthrie because he has just come back to Yorkshire from a career in Germany. Not a good time to be friendly with the Fritzes, as they let him know. So they come together a bit reluctantly on each side, but he's clearly the man for the job. And Ray Fiennes is great. Of course he is. Just right from the auditions, you can tell on his face when he gets these singers coming in and they just mangle the notes. His face just says it all, how just disgusted he is about what he's going to have to work with. And then you have somebody step up with a beautiful voice, and he looks like he's just been enlightened. It's wonderful. And it just shows you this week, especially with these two movies, what kind of a versatile actor he is.
Yeah.
But so he goes along and he has to make do because, as the synopsis said there, some of his male members are being taken from him because they're getting their conscription papers and they got to go. So he makes do, and he has to make some changes to the work that they're going to perform. From Edward Elgar, a real guy, and who in the movie, Guthrie knows him a little bit, so he got permission to do the work, but he had to change it because of the ages of some of his singers, and the Elgar did not authorize that, and then he shows up, and so that's an interesting sort of conflict that is actually more interesting than the rest of the subplots that the director Nicholas Heitner and the writer Alan Bennett get carried away with. There are so many with the kids, and I get it. You want to talk about loss and sacrifice of war, and how the kids that are still here at home and they're waiting to go have all this wartime bravado, and then you want to contrast that with the boys who are lucky enough to come home. Well, what shape are they in? And are they going to be able to come back and sing? I get that. There are some relevant themes there. They just don't hit. They just don't land that deeply. It seems like it's almost a bit of a Dead Poet Society type of knockoff that doesn't work as well. So the Ray Fiennes orbit, that's where you want to be. When it starts straying from that, you kind of lose your interest a little bit. So it's one of those that if you love this type of period piece, the period details are fine. They just seem a little glossy, a little more sheen than this wartime deserves, or to seem authentic. So it's fine. It's just not great, but it's always a good time to celebrate Ray Fiennes, especially this week. So however you want to say it, the Choral or the Choral is in theaters now.
And in theaters, an LA cop discovers a local task force is hiding a secret that puts the residents of his childhood neighborhood in danger. Night Patrol.
Well, first of all, I've seen this trailer. Where are the beards? And is this based on true events?
It's not. I'm going to go on a limb and say it is not based on true events. And this is a Shudder movie, but it's out theatrically. And it is one of those movies, actually, in watching it, I thought it doesn't seem like a theatrical release to me. It seems like a streamer, which is not to say that it's bad. Ryan Prowse is the co-writer and director. No, excuse me. He's the director. He did not write this. And he's telling a story that uses vampires, right, the monster, to represent something. And it is that the in the inner city, and I assume it's LA, but in an inner city in a big, large metropolitan area, the night patrol, the cops who come out at night, the sort of highest esteem that you can get to, the badasses, they are in fact vampires. They are intentionally rounding up human beings and in specific neighborhoods and eating them. So it's a blunt instrument of a film in that way, and it's not that it's bad. It isn't. Justin Long plays a cop who wants to get on the night patrol, and right there you're like, wait a minute, that's totally the wrong role for Justin Long. But he sees himself as the good guy. I'm one of the good ones is actually one of his lines. Just FYI, if you ever hear that line in a movie, they're not.
Not all night patrols.
You know what? If you ever hear that line in real life, he's not. But the point is, neither is Justin Long. And they make a lot of really interesting comments about this movie. What I think the biggest problem with this movie is that I can't seem to decide what it is. It's really not a horror film. There's really very little vampire action. And most of the sort of monstrous behavior happens at the very end in Act 3. It's I guess, a police procedural sort of thriller, action thriller, but it's a comedy as well. And it works in a lot of ways. It works best as a comedy. R.J. Seiler plays the teenage boy who kind of gets caught in the middle of this because he's wearing a ring that he lifted from his mom's bedroom, not knowing, because she comes from the Zulu, which is good. And so he doesn't realize this is why the cops don't kill him the night they kill his girlfriend. And he doesn't realize till he comes back to find his girlfriend with her brother, who's a blood, not a Crip. A lot of problems there. Anyway, that they've torn her to pieces like a lion would. I mean, she's just literally in pieces on the ground. So this all leads back to his mom, Nikki Michaud, who has been preparing for this for years. And there's a lot of really, really cynical, funny comedy in that. And there's also a lot of really interesting, surprising social commentary with the mother and the people in the neighborhood that is about to be victimized. But the different threads, comedy, horror, and action thriller, he can't bring them together very well. It's almost fully 2 hours long, absolutely feels it. And I think that the biggest problem is just that, he can't land on a genre. So you get kind of whiplash watching it.
Night Patrol. And that is not streaming, although it feels like it.
Yeah.
This one's in theaters.
And a French crime thriller. Two girls vanish. Police recruit Paul Cartier joins a covert unit tracking a sex offender. After the operation falters, Cartier pursues the perpetrators independently, disillusioned with legal constraints. Maldoror.
Here's another director we like.
We do. Fabrice Duels. You might not know him. He's Belgian, and he makes some incredibly disturbing films, including Calvaire, which is in my top 10 all-time favorite movies. And we just saw it listed in the
Christmas horror.
In the top 10 of the 100 most disturbing horror films ever made, by the way. So we were excited. Anytime he does anything new, we're excited because it seems like everything that springs from his mind is so dark and weird and surprising. And this is an outright police procedural, and it's based on a true crime, Belgian crime, a man, a sexual predator, a child molester, and serial killer who, because of the way the police were siloed and because just, laziness and disinterest and because of judicial malfeasance, was just allowed to prey on little kids in this community for years. And it's awful. And of course it is. And it would be awful. And the movie is told from the point of view of a boy who grew up in a bad family and he wanted to be in the gendarme because he wanted to do something honorable. And he's played by Anthony Bahone, who was in a movie called Teddy a few years ago. That was great. It was a French film, a werewolf movie, a sort of about an aggrieved young man. It was great, and he was great in it. And this also has a really great cast. Laurent Lucas, who is in a lot of Bruce Wells movies, he plays his captain. He's always great. Sergio Lopez, who again almost unrecognizable in this movie.
Just saw him in Surat.
He's amazing in everything. And then Beatrice Dahl, whom I love.
Oh yeah, she's
also in this. It's really great cast. It's a big cast, and it reminds you from the beginning a little kind of Dog Day Afternoon. It reminds you of those sprawling 70s action thrillers from the American 1970s. That's what it seems to look like. It's telling a true story. Things are going well, but the thing is that the character that you sort of get to know in the beginning, the good guy, sort of vulnerable, and he looks the part too. He looks gawky and dumb. It becomes sort of a man, an obsessed man, sort of a movie at the end. It doesn't suit it. It doesn't suit that character. It doesn't suit the film. It certainly doesn't suit the subject matter. So as much as I wanted to like it, and I like a lot about it, in the end, I just found myself like the whole third act I didn't buy. And it really made it much of a less effort than I kind of was hoping to see.
Yeah, and that's too bad because, like we said, we always look forward to this guy's work, and these actors too. He's always working with Laurent Lucas, seems like.
Yeah, he is.
But Sergio Lopez. I couldn't remember. I was blanking on his name. Yeah, always love to see him too. So
everything.
Bit of a disappointment on there for that one. And that one in theaters as well.
That one is streaming.
That one is streaming.
And also in select theaters, in a society where people stop dreaming to extend their lifespan, some dangerous individuals still dream, warping the fabric of time. We experience 5 dreams for each of the senses, each chronologically representing a period of cinema. It's Resurrection.
Well, I'll tell you, for this one, we basically had Matt Weiner, who writes for us, basically come to our house and threaten us if he didn't get a chance to watch this and review it. And he wrote a great review.
Yeah, he really did.
Because he was a big fan of this guy's work. Yeah. And the writer-director by Gann.
And he made a couple of years ago, Long Day's Journey into Night, which is sort of famous for this hour-long one take. And he brings the same technical skill to this anthology, really. It's discrete tales of dreams from different time periods. And each time period also has a different style. Like there's a noir one, and there's different genres, and the final one, which again boasts one of those incredibly long, you can't believe you're watching it, single shots, and it is a vampire love story.
It is.
And the colors in this movie, the way that the stories swing from genre to genre, the truth is it's an incredibly slight plot storyline, but more than makes up for it with just visual panache, like you've never seen.
Yeah, that last shot too. Vampire love story, yes. It starts out in a karaoke club and then winds its way through a lot of violence down to other settings. It is amazing. And if you watch it and you're trying to pick out places where he might have cut, you kind of rob yourself a little bit of the joy of it unless you're able to watch it several times.
Plus, he didn't. It's not one of those where like it looks like he didn't. He didn't.
It sure doesn't. It sure appears that way. It really. I mean, no, I'm going to try. I'm going to trust him. But sometimes you look at that with an eye. Okay. But it really looks like. And if it is the case, it is just wonderfully choreographed.
I don't know why you think this award-winning filmmaker is lying to us.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm giving him the benefit. I truly am. And that's just it because it's amazing. All the things that are going on in the background and then have to be timed out just right is just amazing. It really is. So for that segment alone, plus it's vampires. It's cool. But be sure to check out Matt Weiner's review, and big surprise, he liked it a lot. But it is 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long film.
Which is another calling card of this director. Yeah. But it's called Resurrection. Yeah. Definitely, again, to see on the big screen to get the full effect. Yeah. And that's called Resurrection, out now.
And in theaters, Connor Marsh's secluded life is disrupted when he plays the OBEX game. His dog Sandy disappears. blurring reality and game. Connor enters the OBEX world to rescue Sandy, navigating its strange realms. OBEX.
This is from Albert Binney, who made a movie a few years ago called Strawberry Mansion that I loved. It was just nuts. It was just a wild, sweet-hearted, bizarre, gorgeous movie. And this one, Adam Barney reviewed for us, and it's where Strawberry Mansion was incredibly colorful. This one is black and white, but in a lot of ways, it's a similar theme. It's a guy by himself in his house, and he hasn't left his house in many years. He doesn't leave his house. He only ever talks to the woman who stands outside the door and brings him his groceries, and his beloved dog Sandy that he plays video games with. And then the evil demon from the video game steals Sandy, and so he has to go on a quest through the video game to get the dog back. And it's imaginative, as you might guess, and gorgeous and interesting and quirky and weird, and just another reason to be interested in whatever Binney does.
And it's Adam Barney's review, because is it
Bernie? Sorry, it's
Adam Barney. No,
Albert Bernie. Adam Barney.
Uma, Oprah. They should meet.
They should.
But yeah, Adam's review is up now at MaddWolf.com, and that's called OBEX, and that was in select theaters.
It is in theaters right now. Yeah, it'll be streaming soon, maybe next week.
Okay, but it is in select theaters now. Okay, I think we have.
We do, and we've kept him waiting a long time. We apologize, but
back in town.
Hey, Schlocketeer,
hello.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Glad to have you back. And boy, since we've spoken last, I think the last we knew, Netflix was trying to take over all sorts of other studios. What's the latest with that, and what everything else has got going on?
I think we're probably about a month away from a cage fight between the head of Netflix and the head of Paramount over who gets to have Warner Brothers at this point. So.
Right.
Okay, is that a pay-per-view?
They might as well make it one. Maybe it can pay for Guillermo del Toro's next movie.
What else is up?
Well, first things first, Brian Fuller's Dust Bunny is now available on VOD, so I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Oh, yeah. See it.
Yeah,
oh,
good.
And Blumhouse's Black Phone 2 is now available to stream on Peacock. And then going into next week, Springsteen, Delivery Me from Nowhere, will be available to stream on Hulu on January 23rd.
Okay.
The latest reboot of Silent Night, Deadly Night will hit VOD on January 27th.
We like that a lot.
Surprising.
And if you want to double feature something on VOD on January 27th, you also have Neon's political thriller, The Secret Agent, hitting the same day. So,
ooh, those two are stylistically. You want some whiplash? But I wouldn't be surprised to see Wagner Moura get an Oscar nomination at all.
Yeah,
long time coming for him at this point. Pivoting, Amazon MGM's buddy action comedy The Wrecking Crew will premiere on Amazon Prime on January 28th, and that pairs Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista. So trailer looks pretty fun. Could be good. Josh Safdie's Marty Supreme is hitting VOD on February 3rd. So if you missed that in theaters, you'll be able to see it at home soon. And then Neon's comedy Splitsville is hitting Hulu on February 6th. And Briarcliff Entertainment will release Gore Verbinski's sci-fi action comedy Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die in theaters on February 13th. And that pairs up Sam Rockwell and Michael Pena. So
we just watched that last night.
It's good. And back to Amazon MGM, they have a pirate movie called The Bluff hitting Prime on February 25th, and that stars Priyanka Chopra Jonas, and Carl Urban is the villain in that one.
Okay.
Lots of scenery chewing to be had on that film. A24 has announced their next horror film, Undertone, that'll hit theaters on March 13th. Nice creepy trailer out for that one. And then sticking with horror, Warner Brothers will release the film They Will Kill You in theaters on March 27th.
That's a good looking
forward to that one. Disney has a genre-bending buddy action flick called Mike, Nick, and Alice, and that'll premiere on Hulu on March 27th. That's got Vince Vaughn, James Marsden, and Isa Gonzalez.
Just saw the poster for that yesterday, yeah.
And I've got 2 more for you. First up, Warner Brothers has set an April 17th theatrical release for Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which has a nice moody teaser out there. Hopefully that turns out well.
Yeah.
And then finally, the big one for me this year, Toho and G-Kids have locked in a November 6th theatrical release date for Godzilla -0. So
yes, I will be. I'm not nearly the Godzilla fan that you are, but I loved -1 so much that I'm all in.
Yep.
All in.
And hopefully next time I talk to you, we'll have an answer on the Warner Brothers front, but sometimes hopefully we won't.
All right.
So,
we'll need a date for that cage fight.
right.
All right. You can always catch up with Daniel on the socials at the Schlocketeer. Thank you much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See you soon. Looking ahead to next week, we've got one with, I've been seeing the trailers for this. This is Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson in Mercy.
Also, Return to Silent Hill.
Ooh, one that we have already seen. There's some Oscar buzz for Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee. This is from the 2 filmmakers who did The Brutalist.
Right.
Mona Fastvold directs this time, but also Brady Corbett, her husband, is a co-writer. So that'll be next week.
And Magellan.
One called H for Hawk.
Dooba Dooba. This is a Nightmare Film Festival alum that is finally getting the big rollout, and we're excited for them, and we're excited to talk about that one.
Also, Mother of Flies.
Yeah, the new Addams Family, not that Addams Family, the other Addams Family.
They have guested on our horror movie podcast called Fright Club, so we'll be looking forward to this one. That's next week.
Yep, and then Gaze of the Flamingo.
Okay. That's all next week. But boy, a lot to talk about this week, starting with the Bone Temple. What do you think? Or maybe Netflix with Ben and Matt in The Rip, or No Other Choice for an Oscar favorite. What do you think? You can always find us easily on the socials at MaddWolf Columbus. Also, MaddWolf.com is the main website. Lots of ways to get in touch. Hope you will. Stay warm. If you're in that part of the country like us, it's pretty chilly this weekend. Have a great week. And until we talk again, go Niners.
Ha! Go Bears.
And until then, she's Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Screening Room Podcast.
See ya.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.